Good evening. It's 6 o'clock on Wednesday, the 19th of July, 2017. Welcome and thank you for joining us tonight for the English edition of Aura News, bringing you the day's national top stories translated into English 6 days a week. Prime Minister Edi Rama held a meeting today with the citizens of Vlora, inviting them to become part of the ruling coalition through the online platform and to denounce any irregularities they noticed in state offices. The Prime Minister said that a team will deal with the citizens' complaints via the online platform and will take any necessary measures. Why would a common citizen not be able to enter in a ruling coalition? Yes, this is possible through technology. You can register in the co-governing platform where you can write about your problems in real time. A team will verify and follow the issues, and if proven that a state official has caused problems for a citizen, then the state official can no longer stay in office, declared the Prime Minister. According to the Prime Minister, the real opposition is not the one in Parliament, but the officials who delay solving the citizens' problems. We are not fighting with the parties that will make the opposition's role. Let them make their duty as they want, threatening, screaming, slandering, offending. That's their problem. Our duty is to fight the number one enemy of Albania, the parasite that stays in state offices, worsening the citizens' lives. The Prime Minister told the audience that the government should be kept connected with the citizens, and according to him, this will happen through the online platform. The Central Election Commission has decided to file a lawsuit against 96 vote counters in 19 voting centres. According to the Central Election Commission, the vote counters have changed the votes of different political parties on June 25. Almost all members of the Central Election Commission agreed on filing the lawsuit against the vote counters so that the prosecution can make a decision whether they have made a mistake with the vote counting or whether they have intentionally removed votes from one party, adding them to another. During the review of some complaints filed by the parties, the Central Election Commission administered some evidence and decided to recount the votes of some voting centres. After the recount from 24 voting centres, the result was different from the initial tally. The members of counting teams have calculated a smaller number of votes for some parties and a higher number of votes for other parties compared to the real number of votes in the ballots. The changes noticed in the votes did not affect the end result, but the members of the counting teams have consumed elements of the criminal offence falsification of electoral material and of election result. The recounting of votes proved that the actions of the vote counters are guided by parties which, in fact, are as equally as guilty as the vote counters themselves. For this reason, the Central Election Commission calls on the prosecution to investigate the violators and bring them to justice, declared the chairwoman of the Central Election Commission. The Constitutional Court today reviewed the complaint filed by two associations of judges for 3 laws regarding the judicial reform, which also includes some articles on the vetting laws. After a 60-minute session, the Constitutional Court decided to postpone its judgment until September. The review session in the Constitutional Court is scheduled to be held on September 28th. Today's hearing was held without the presence of the interested parties and without the media. However, September 28th session will be held in the presence of the interested parties and the session will be public. As long as the law on vetting is not suspended, nothing hampers the vetting of judges and prosecutors to start at the beginning of September, as has been predicted. According to the law, the Prosecutor General, members of the Supreme Court and members of the Constitutional Court will be the first ones to undergo the vetting process. By the month of October, the vetting process should provide the first results for at least 50 prosecutors and judges. This is not the first lawsuit against the vetting laws. The associations of judges have previously filed a complaint against the vetting, but this time they have appealed the articles that are directly related to them, such as requesting the right to resign at any time without having to undergo the vetting process. Together with the vetting law, the National Association of Judges and the Union of Judges have also appealed to other laws of the judicial reform, the law on justice governance bodies in the justice system, and the law on the status of judges and prosecutors. The Albanian Parliament has rejected the claims of the judges and asked the Constitutional Court to reject their requests. Parliament thinks that the judges lack legitimacy and stated that the vetting process is based on international standards. The The US Embassy to our country has reiterated its appeal to Albanian citizens to apply and be part of the High Judicial Council and High Prosecutorial Council. Though through a status on Facebook, the US Embassy urges the qualified citizens to apply for the new justice bodies. Many patriotic Albanians have already applied to serve as part of the High Judicial and High Prosecutorial Councils, but even more experts are needed. We encourage qualified professionals to apply to be part of these important institutions, reads the announcement from the US Embassy, which also provides the address where qualified citizens can apply. The candidates for DP Chairman Lulzim Basha and Eduard Selami held joint meetings with the Democrats of Administrative Units numbers 1, 2 and 4, where they presented the analysis of what has happened so far and their projects for the future. Mr. Selami highlighted the need to make a serious internal analysis. This is not the time to lose faith and hope, but the time to make a serious analysis, and this race will serve to this. I would have liked this analysis to be made differently. If we had taken the loss of 2013 seriously, the 2015 elections would have been different. If we had seriously analysed the causes of the loss in 2015, we could have avoided the loss of 2017. If we lose this case again, I am afraid things will not be improved. So let's see our mistakes, said Selami. To Mr. Basha, the elections were brutally deformed through massive vote buying and state pressure. We have been faced with a criminal regime for 4 years. This regime has changed the basis of democracy and European standards. Vote-buying mechanisms were put into motion in the most remote villages and in the middle of Tirana in order to deform people's will. Hundreds of millions of euro were invested for this, said Basha. On the other side, candidate Selami promised to make every Democrat feel valued and to give them the opportunity to progress. I can guarantee you that we will come into power together. I am certain of it. I will include an article in the party statute. The chairman is to resign in case he loses parliamentary elections. We should draft a wide and serious strategy with internal debate. Today, the Democratic Party is less democratic than when Basha became the party's chairman, declared Selami. But Mr. Basha believes that the DP will recover after June 25's defeat and promised an evaluation of members' contributions. Candidate for DP Chairman Eduard Selami held meetings with the citizens of Administrative Units numbers 1, 2 and 4 in Tirana, to whom he expressed his belief that he will win. Mr. Selami promised to return the Democratic Party to being the party of hope for the Albanian people. Mr. Selami declared that his platform aims to make the Democratic Party a house which has room for everyone. We will come out stronger on July 22 and we will return dignity, values and democracy to the Democratic Party, which have been missing. Then we will proudly say that the Democratic Party returned its values and once again became the hope for the Albanian people, stated Selami, before reiterating that the race for chairman is unequal. Mr. Selami said that Basha has not provided an answer to him as to whether he agrees to include the article for the resignation of the party chairman in the case of a loss at elections. Victory is to emerge the first party. The chairman should resign and should not enter the race for the party chairman. Let's start this with me, and I believe that we will be the first ones and we will return to values, added Selami. According to Selami, Basha has lost the confidence of the internationals. This is really concerning. We rarely hear the strategic allies speaking with contempt for a party with Western values. This was only heard in the old times, stated Selami. The Albanian national team will have a new coach after the Italian Gianni Di Biasi ended his agreement with the Albanian Football Federation. The 44-year-old Italian, Cristian Panucci, is officially the new coach of the Albanian national football team. The news was announced by the president of the Albanian Football Federation, President Armando Duka, during a press conference today. Cristian Panucci signed a 2-year and 4-month contract. Panucci thanked the federation and President Duka and stated that he is honoured to be the new coach, declaring, "It is exciting and, at the same time, a great responsibility to this country, where football has improved over the years. I hope I will leave footprints on the history of the Albanian team. I am convinced that the team is very good. The Albanian team is at a higher level than it used to be before. I look forward to starting. Our only objective is qualifying for 2020. That's all for our English edition this evening. My name is Alexandra. Please join me again Monday through Saturday at 6 p.m. for your local news in English. On behalf of Aura News, thank you and good night.